to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we have this beautiful looking puzzle to try called Whirligig by Tall Cat. Now, Tall Cat is a slightly terrifying constructor, an utter genius among men, and I don't know how hard this is, but I'm presuming fairly difficult, but I do love the shape of this. I also quite like the title, which is redolent to me of one of my very favourite songs. In fact, it may even, I don't know, if it was in my Desert Island discs, I wouldn't be surprised. The song Tunnel of Love by Dire Straits. What was it? Money for Muscle on another Whirligig. Money for Muscle and another girl I dig. Another hustle just to make it big and rock away. Blah, blah, blah. Colour coats and Whitley Bay. Anyway, my electric guitar is, well, I haven't got any strings for it at the moment, so I'm not going to attempt to play that as an introduction. But you can imagine it, and it would be marvellous. Now, what do I need to tell you about today? Loads of stuff. Well, actually, let's start with Tall Cat, who has been kind enough to create for us a most magnificent video about how he set the puzzle Critical Mass, which featured on the channel a couple of weeks ago. That was an amazing creation, and I asked in the video whether Tall Cat had any interest in creating a setting video for us, and he has done just that. So we'll probably try and release that tomorrow on the channel if I have time to sort of top and tail it and add it and upload it to YouTube. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow morning. It is a wonderful video. It must have taken Tall Cat ages to create. So big thanks for making that for us. And I can assure those of you who want to get into Sudoku setting, you will find a mine of information therein. I watched it last night and it was very cool. Now, the other thing I did last night was play the game Gorogoa on the stream. Thank you so much if you joined us for that. If you didn't, I will say two things. Firstly, hopefully it's quite an entertaining watch, and it is now on the channel. But secondly, try the game first. What a game that is. Is this a spoiler to say we finished it in the stream? It might be a little bit, but I've said it now. But it is so beautiful, and the ideas inherent in that game are they're just gorgeous. So yeah, go and buy yourselves Gorogoa and have a go on it. You will not regret it. Now, the next thing I need to do is to wish somebody a very happy birthday, and that person is Donald Thompson. Now, Donald, I think it's your 50th birthday today. And if I'm right, that is a heck of a birthday, and I hope that you have a splendid day. Your wife Kelly got in touch with us. I think you're over there in Bellevue, Washington. So yeah, many congratulations on reaching such a milestone. And and I hope you have a super amount of cake. Anything else to say? Yes, I do. If you own any of our Sudoku apps, and if you don't, you should, because they are the best Sudoku apps out there. They're all handmade puzzles, all handmade hints as well, created by Mark and I. These apps are things we're very, very proud of. There are 7 of them now, and there's about to be an 8th, but that's other news. But all 7 of them, I believe, have now been fully updated. So if you've owned them and you haven't updated them for a while, you will find a whole heap of new puzzles therein. And yeah, they should be quite exciting. There are some incredible puzzles in some of those apps. You know, we've got constructors like Phistomefel and Codec and numerous other luminaries of the world Sudoku scene who've made puzzles for those apps. They are fantastic, so do make sure your apps are updated. Right, that's all I've got to tell you. That's a lot of things, but they're all, I hope you agree, they're all very interesting indeed. Anyway, how do we do Whirligig? Here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Pink lines must contain a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So that means if there was a 1 here, we would know in order to create a pink line that's got consecutive digits on it, would have to have 1, 2, and 3 on it, and we can put those in any order. So that's how so-called Renban lines work. I don't know why they're called Renban, but anyway, that is it's become part of the Sudoku nomenclature to describe pink lines that have consecutive non-repeating digits on them as Renban lines. Now, the other green lines are so-called German Whispers lines, and this means that adjacent digits on green lines must differ by at least 5. So imagine we knew this cell was a 3. Now this square has to be at least 5 different from 3, so it would have to either be 8 or 9, and then we'd continue along the line from there. that is all of the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And my eyes are drawn. My eyes are drawn to the given 6 actually, because I can see that this 6 sees all the cells on this Renban, which is going to force this Renban to have low digits on it. And that's because, imagine we tried to put a 7 on this Renban, for example. Well, now we've got a big problem, because we can't put 6 on it, yet we have to make the digits consecutive with 7, and you can see that's a 4-cell Renban, so it would be utterly broken. So this Renban here is made up of low numbers, and Mark would fully approve of that ludicrous amount of pencil marking I've just added to those cells. So 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s. And right, so there's definitely 2, 3 and 4 on this Renban then, because it's either going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm not sure whether I can do much better than that. I'm just thinking about it. Give me a second or two to just sort of allow this to percolate through my my brain, which is proving rather stubborn at the moment. I don't actually like putting the 2, 3, 4 in it. It's making it look even more cluttered. Let's not do that. Okay, so there's something going on in this row. And that thing is about that digit, I think, which has to appear on this Renban. And that's because digits can't repeat on a Renban, whatever this digit is, where does it live in box 6? It's going to have to live down here in one of these 3 houses. And then, by Sudoku, it's going to have to live on the other Renban in row 5. And the same is true of this cell. So I'm tempted to use yellow here because I feel orange would be particularly unpleasant against the purple background. But now, yes, it's the same logic there. Yellow's going to have to live in one of those cells, which means yellow is on this purple line. So these 2 Renbans share 2 digits. And it's exactly 2 digits, isn't it? For if they shared 3 digits, if we were to try and put another digit in common between these Renbans, then where would that digit live on both of those Renbans? It can't live in either of those cells because we're saying it's a 3rd digit, so it would have to live there and there simultaneously, and that will put 2 of it into row 5, which won't work. So there are exactly 2 shared digits between these Renbans. I feel like that matters for some reason, because hang on, let me think about this. I want to say that means that they're the sort of middly digits. I feel like that's true, but I'm not. It's more a feeling than something I'm keen to articulate at this point. Yeah, because if we can't have more, if we've got to have 2 shared digits only. So what we've got here is we've got 8 cells of Renban altogether, haven't we? These 4 here and these 4 here. And what we're saying is that these 8 cells of Renban are actually only made up of 6 different digits. And then 2 of the digits repeat. In other words, they appear on both Renbans. Yes, yeah, so okay, but only 2. So if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, what this one cannot be is 2, 3, 4, 5, because then these 6 digits would be made up of only 5. These 6 cells would be made up of only 5 different digits. So if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, we would know that this one would have to be 3, 4, 5, 6 in order to allow us to have enough space to have enough different digits in the row. And you can see from that the middly digits the sort of inkling I had about middly digits is correct. If this was 1, 2, 3, 4, because this has to then be 3, 4, 5, 6, the 3 and the 4 sort of separate the renbands in a funny way. So how can this be extreme? It can't be, can it? No, in fact that's maybe the easy way to see it. How can this digit be a 1? The answer is it can't be, because it gets put on the other renban, and now both of these renbands have to be made up of the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there are 6 different cells, so you will end up repeating a digit in row 5. Now, so this is not a 1. Now, I want to say this can't be a 2 either, because I feel like the common digit between these two renbands has to be a middly digit. So let's try and prove that to ourselves. If this is a 2, then this means this renban has a 2 on it as well. So the digits in here are selectable from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, yes, these digits would have to be selected from exactly the same digits as these, and we would have 6 digits selected from 6 cells selected from 5 digits, so that also doesn't work. So this is confirming to me that we need to go upwards in terms of our middly digits. Now 3 unfortunately might work, because that worked when we did 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 3, 4, 5, 6, and that would give us 6 different digits. So if that's a 3, let's just think about this. This would be a 3, but now, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6 is now possible on this renban. So these could be pencil marked from 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, and that means these 6 cells altogether have 6 different opportunities, or 6 different digits to choose from, and put a 7, 8, 9 in here. So actually 3 might work. Okay, so therefore what we're going to say next is that this digit is the same as this. Well, it's not, no, it's not the same digit, but it's subject to the same restriction, I think, by symmetry. And that's because this yellow digit, it ends up on this renban, so ab initio it's 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, but for exactly the same reason that this couldn't be a 1, this can't be a 1. If this is a 1, this renban is the same as this renban, and that will not leave us enough different digits, and the same is true of 2. So these two squares are from 3, 4 and 5. My 1s and 3s here, I think they were just pencil mark examples. I don't think I know that they are true. In fact, do I know for sure, and I might know this? Yes, I do. The left renban is bigger than the right renban. I think that's what we're meant to conclude here. And that's because I need to make sure that these 6 digits are all different numbers. I can't select these from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there must be a 6 over on this side. And once there's a 6 over on this side and there's no 6 on this renban is the bigger renban. Now, the biggest it could be, if this was... The biggest this renban can be is 2, 3, 4, 5. So the biggest overlap is 4, 5. So this could be 4, 5, 6, 7. And that means 8 and 9 are in the middle box, I think. In row 5. I'm just going to double check that. So if this renban was as big as it can be, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the overlapping digits in the row would have to be the 4 and the 5, which means this renban could be 4, 5, 6, 7 as a maximum. So it can never have an 8 on it. In fact, let's try and prove that a different way. If we do put an 8 on it, does the puzzle just break? Why does the puzzle break if we do this? So so yes, this would have to be a 5, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, I see how it breaks. It does break. If this is a 5, if we put 8 in these string of digits, this has to be 5, because we have to make sure this is a consecutive sequence. But now this digit, which is also a 3, 4 or 5, can't appear on this Renban because it has to be 8765, and that's a 3 or a 4 and it's not on the Renban. And that would break the rules of the universe, and we don't want to do that, at least not today. So 8 and 9 are in the middle box. Ooh, now, if I can rule 8 and 9 out of this cell, then I would know something about my green digits, and that would be very important. And I say that because, of course, there are 2 things we should all know, or almost axiomatically, about green lines, green German Whispers lines. First of those is that you can never put a 5 on a German Whispers line, because if you do, the adjacent digit has to be 5 different from 5, and therefore it's either going to be 0 or negative or 10 or higher. That's not going to work. The next thing is, once we've worked out you can't put 5 on it, it has to oscillate polarity. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say that this digit was a low number. Well, now this digit, because it has to be 5 different from a low number and it can't be 5, it switches to becoming a high number. And now the next digit will have to be 5 different from this. And even if this is 9, you see it has to dip down below 5 again. So you get this oscillation. And that's why this looks interesting to me. If I can force 8, 9 into those squares, then we know how these two lines here are going to oscillate. We know where their high polarity is. But that means I need to know this is not an 8 or a 9. How do I know that? I know that because I don't actually know how I know that. I don't feel like I really do. I know this is a high Renban. So if this was 654, no, it could be 6543, couldn't it? 6543, and this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would work. And that would put 7, 8, 9 in the middle, which would actually, that would be fine as well. If it was 7, 8, 9 in the middle, I would know these two were high anyway. So the way that these might not be high is if this is 7, 6, 5, 4, and this would then be 5, 4, 3, 2, and there would be a 1 in the middle. Right, so these digits are from 1, 7, 8, and 9 for definite. But the problem with that is very irritating in that I can now put a low digit on the German Whisper if this is not a 1. And that breaks my ability to do polarity tricks on the green Whispers lines. Bobbins. Right, so probably then we have to do we have to do the same sort of Renban trickery on these Renbans? Because we must have the same sort of principle here, mustn't we? What colour am I going to use that's not going to be objectionable? Oh, actually, no, look, orange is not too bad. No, that's not too bad. So orange here can't go there by Sudoku, can't repeat on its own pink line, so it goes in one of those. Therefore, orange is on this Renban. And the same is true here. Now, what colour should we use for this? Ugh. No, that's absolutely filthy. We're not using red. We're going to use, maybe I can use green. Yeah, that looks okay. It's quite different green to the Whisper. So the green, oh, hang on, is that going, no, I don't like that. That doesn't show up well against the green background, so I need a different colour. Let's try grey. Dark grey we'll use. So if this is dark grey is in one of these three. Yes, I can see that. So dark grey ends up at the top Renban. And it's exactly the same principle, isn't it? We've got to make sure these 8 cells of Renban are now selected from 6 different digits, because there are 2 overlapping digits on the Renban. There can't be 3 overlapping digits because they would repeat in the column. Yes, okay. Here is something interesting. I know there's an 8 and a 9 in this string of digits. So there must be at least an 8 on one of these Renban cells, because even if I make this, even if I make that as high as possible and make it a 9, I've still got to put 8 in this column now, and it can't go in those two squares because it must be in one of those two in box 5. So there is an 8 on a Renban, and if there's an 8, there might be a 9 on a Renban, but there's definitely at least an 8 on a Renban, and if there's at least an 8 on a Renban, then the sequence of digits coming down this column that are on Renbans are a minimum. Let's minimize it. So let's say we go 8, 7, 6, 5, and then the 6 and the 5 would be shared between the two Renbans. So 6, 5, 4, 3. And now I've done it. I've done it. Yes. So now in column 5, I think this logic is sound. We have worked out there is at least an 8 on a Renban. And even if we plunge that Renban down as low as it can go, so we say there's no 9 on it, we say it's an 8765 Renban, then we know that the other Renban, which must have 2 digits in common with that 8765, but can't have 3 digits in common, because otherwise then there will be a repeated digit in the column. So the repeated digits are the 6 and the 5, so it must go 6, 5, 4, 3. So the 1 and the 2 in this column can never be on Renbans once we realise there's an 8 on one of these Renbans. So the 1 and the 2 go in box 5, and that does it, because now I can't put 1 in either of those. Bingo. So these are high. And that doesn't seem to be able to be a 2. Because I pencil marked 1s, 7s, 8s and 9s into there. Hang on. So if this can't be a 2, well, why can't that be a 2? Let me just check that. If that's a 2, why is that a problem? Yeah, that's broken. That's broken. In fact, this central digit is potent, isn't it? Because it's the centre of our whirligig. And it's ruled out of all the Renbans. Yes, so if you put 2 in here, the question I should be asking is where does 1 go in this row? And it's a problem, because 1 has to go, it has to go on a Renban, which means 2 is on that Renban, but 2 cannot be on the Renban because it's in the middle box and it sees all of the Renban cells. So that is definitely not 2. Now actually that's probably going to work for 7s and 8s, isn't it? If this is an 8, yes, it does work the same way, but now we come to the column. Where does 9 go in the column? Well, 9 can't be in these cells because there's a 9 in one of those two, so 9 gets shunted onto a Renban. That Renban will have to have 8 on it, which will clash with this 8, so there is no 8 in the middle box. Now, does that work with 7? If we put 7 in here, now this is broken again, because again it's the same question. Where does 9 go in the column? It's got to go on a Renban. It's a 4-cell Renban, so it will be a 9876 Renban. The key word in that sentence was the word 7, and the 7 on a Renban will definitely clash here. So the central digit is extreme. It's 1 or 9. It's not 8. So 8 is in one of these, and 2 is in one of these. Okay, hang on, let me just think about this for a moment or two. But don't I know... what these overlaps are now? Or at least they've got to be fairly restricted, haven't they? So the overlapping digits in the column, if this was minimal, it would be 8765. It would be a 6 and a 5 overlap. But if there was a 9 on a Renban in column 5, we go 9, 8, 7, 6, and we have a 7, 6 overlap. Okay, so these squares are either, that's not 6 actually, let's see 6 here. So it doesn't, yes, but there is always a 6 overlap. So there must be a 6 in one of these two cells. That's what I'm thinking. I think that this cell has to be a 6. Is that good logic? If this was 8, 7, 6, 5, then obviously 6 and 5 are the overlapping digits. But if it's 9, 8, 7, 6, it's still got an overlap of 6. One of these overlaps needs to be a 6, so it's got to be this one, because this one sees a 6 in the grid. Might have been other ways of doing that actually. I'm now seeing that by Sudoku I could have appreciated there was a 6 in one of these. I might have been able to rule it out of this cell somehow. Yes, you can. That would have been simpler actually. If I'd thought about whether this could be a 6, you can see it can't be, because if it's a 6 in this column, there's some beautiful ideas going on here. You could not have put a 6 in any of the cells on these Ren bands, because this 6 sees them all. It's weird. And once it sees them all, well, how on earth are we going to make this sequence of digits ever work? You're just not going to be able to. You need a 6 somewhere, because otherwise you're not going to be able to keep the consecutiveness of these Rem bands intact, given that they share digits. So anyway, this is a 6. So there's a 6 up here. I still haven't used my whispers lines either, so I need to get to those in a minute. There's quite a lot going on though now. I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to be able to do more with the Ren bands immediately. I'm struggling to see how actually. So hang on, do I know therefore this, by the same token that there had to be a 6 on one of these Ren bands, do I know there has to be it's going to be a 4 in one of those cells? Yeah, I do, don't I? Because if this was a 3-5 pair, those are not continuous. That can't work, because that cannot work, because there would have to be, if you know both of these lines have a 3 and a 5 on them, they must have a 4 on both of them, and that 4 would repeat in the row. So that's complete nonsense. There is definitely a 4 in one of those, but unfortunately I don't know which one it is. I don't think. And it's weird, it's actually strange as well that I'm focusing in on 4s and 6s on Ren bands, when normally 4s and 6s are the really potent digits on green lines, whispers, because of course if you find a 6 on a green line, well, you can't put a 6 here. If you found a 6 here, you would know this cell had to be a 1, because it has to be 5 different. So ToolCat is playing with our heads here. And as usual, whenever you do a ToolCat puzzle, basically ToolCat wins the internet for cleverest person on that day. So well done, ToolCat. You are the cleverest person on the internet this Thursday. Okay, right. I'm going to stop looking at this. I'm going to start looking at whispers. So these are high, and now my colouring is going to be. Do I want to get? So I want to use. I think I might have to get rid of some colouring here, because I want to colour these whispers lines, and it's going to get very, very confusing when I overlap this colouring. Do I need to know? Do I need to retain any of this colouring? I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. So I'm going to uncolour, and I'm going to colour these a high colour, which I will make yellow today, the colour of the sun. So these now, because we know the polarity oscillates, those are all high. These are going to be the cold colour of blue. So those are all blue. Now we can label these up probably in proper Goodliffe fashion. So these are 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. Now we can get rid of 4 in the middle of a whispers line because it would have to be flanked by double 9. Although not there. If that was 4, you could put double 9 in those two cells and they don't see each other. So this one might be able to be 4. Let me just think about, that's the same for this one. Ah, you rotten thing. Okay, and let's put the high digits in as well. So we've got to go 6, 7s, 8s and 9s. I'm reticent about putting 6s in. 6 has the same problem here. It would have to go double 1. 6 here could work though, because that could be a 1 on its own. This, no, that can be 4. 6 can't go there. That would cause double 1. 6. So yeah, there's a lot of symmetry here in terms of these lines and how they work. But the challenge for us is presumably, therefore, can we do the same thing with these two cells? Do these two have to be low? That's the question. Well, that's a question. That is a question. I am not certain I know the answer to this. Because we know one of these Renban lines has an 8 on it, we know that Renban line must have 8, 7 and 6 on it. So let's imagine it's this one. If this has 8 and 7 and 6 on it, then obviously these two cells, they both see that whole Renban. This one sees that one in its box and this in its column. This is same is true for this. So wherever the 8, 7 and 6 go, they're definitely ruled out of these cells. So the only way... Oh, this is it. Right, that's it. Beautiful. It's easy, actually. There's a 9. Don't forget where the 9 is in row 5. It's in one of those 3 cells. So you can't put a 9 into these 2 cells. So we've ruled out 8, 7 and 6 and 9. So these have to be low. That's so beautiful. It's so clever. It really is. So these have to be low digits. One of them is definitely a 2. We know that. And now we can extend and propagate the polarity along these lines. And we can do yellowing as well for our troubles. And we can... Oh, those can't be 4s because I worked out one of those was a 4. So we can dismiss 4 instantly from these blues. And come on. I'm waiting for the epiphany that gives me the middle cell. That's going to be very important, I think. Come on, what does this mean? I've got 1, 2, 3 here. Do I know one of these is a 3? I don't think so. I think these could be 4 and 5. And that would mean we'd have a 2, 3, 4, 5 and a 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I can't see how to do this instantly. I'm sure there's a way of doing this box, but I can't see how to do it. Oh, where's my 6 gone now? I had a 6 here a minute ago. Am I going mad? I did have a 6 here. I can see it by SUDOKU. It is a 6 now. So that's a 6. And somehow that got taken away from me. 6 is in one of those 3 by SUDOKU. No, okay. So maybe we've got to look at these lines now then. So these cells have got to be 6, 7s, 8s and 9s. They're hot digits. You can't... Oh, I was about to say... Oh, no, you can't. You can't put 6 here Not because of the whispers line, because there's a 6 in the column. That's not a 6. Ah, now that's not a 6 either, because that would require double 1 on its wings. And there's a 7, 8, 9 triple now in row 3. Which does diddly squat, apparently. Okay, let's try those digits then. So these are 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. You can't put 4 here or it would require double 9. But you might be able to put 4 here with a 9 here. So we've almost got stuff going on. Maybe I should highlight my 6s in highness. They're yellow, aren't they? That one is a blue digit. These 2 digits have got to be 1, 2 and 4, therefore they can't be 3. Can't put 4 in the middle of a whispers line. These would both have to be 9, but unfortunately that can be a 4. So all of the, right, that's high now, because all 3, well, if you think about the low numbers in box 7, the 1, 2 and 3 and 4, well, these are 3 of them, and this line must have 1 of them on it, because obviously that is a pair, 1 high and 1 low. So this whispers line digit must be a high whispers line digit, which means this must be a low whispers line digit, and therefore that is not a 6. And this is a 1, 2, 3 or 4. And this is obviously a 6, 7, 8 or 9. And this is that's not 6, so that's 7, 8 or 9. Wow, okay. Therefore 3 can't go on that Remban. 4, 5, 6, 7, bobbins. Oh, right, there's a small restriction there, actually. Because 3 can't go on this Remban, you can't put 1 or 2 on it either, because if you put 1 or 2 on it, it will have to have a 3 on it. It's a 3-cell Remban. So this line is selected from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in theory. But if you put 9 on it, this would have to be 9, 8, 7, and that cell would be broken. So there is no 9 on there. And once there's no 9 on there, there is a 6 on it now, because it's either 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8. So that's got 6 on. That takes 6 out of here. Right, okay, this is interesting. There's no 8 on this line now, because if there's an 8 on it, it's 8, 7, 6, and both of these cells have to be 9 in box 1. So there's no 8 on that line, which means there's now a 5 on this line. That's not a 6 by Sudoku. Okay. So this is almost fascinating. If that was an 8-9 pair, that would force this to be 6-7. Force this to be a very low number. Or if this is 4-5-6, that becomes that would give us a 1-2 pair here. That would force a 4 onto that, which would be a 4-9 pair. 9 would be over here in box 4. No, easier, much easier. What's that digit? That's not an 8 or a 9. And this is the higher Remban, so it's not got 1 or 2 on it. Yeah, that's right. This Remban has a 6 on it. We said that earlier. So its lowest configuration would be 6, 5, 4, 3. Although I'm not sure that's 6, 5, 4, and that would work. 6, 5, 4, 3 would work. But yeah, if there's no 1 or 2 on this Remban, and it can't have 8 or 9 on it from the work we did earlier, so this square has to be the same as those squares. That's 4, 5, 6 or 7, or 3, which it can't be. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, which means that's not 4, which means Yeah, this is lovely. Right, so that does force this logic in box 7. That's got to be a 4-9 pair now, which means these are not 9. And that means what exactly? So 9 is in one of these two cells in box number. Ah! Oh no, this is lovely. Oh, good grief. It's Phistomefelian, this. It just makes me feel stupid. I'm so sorry if you're getting cross with me about this. But 4 is just locked onto this rem band now. So it's 4, 5, 6. It's not got 7 on it. Which means that has to be 7, apparently. Which means 7 comes out of these two cells, which means that this is now an 8-9 pair. And that means we get the central digit as a 1. And that means lots of things are going to suddenly cascade, aren't they? So now I've got a 2-3 pair here. Let me just actually hang on a moment. Is that true? Yes, it does seem to be true. Yes, I knew these were low. Did I know that? And I knew they couldn't be 4. Yes, okay, because there was a 4 in one of those two. Good grief. This is really complicated. So this is a 2-3 pair, which means that there's no 3 in here, which means these are now a 4-5 pair. But this... oh no, that's fine, isn't it? So this Renban is now 7-6-5-4. And this Renban is 2-3-4-5. Ah, and that's a 7 because I've got a 4-5 pair here. Okay, so that's 7, which means there's a 7 down there on that Renban. So if yes, okay, and that means there's a 9 on one of these Renbans, because if the overlapping digits are 6 and 7, we know it must, one of the Renbans must be 9, 8, 6, 7, and the other one must be 7, 6, 5, 4. But do I know? I know that this is the higher Renban. I do know that. I don't know if I know which way round these go. Ah! Okay, so we will have to look. Ah, that's not 6 anymore, because that would need a 1 next to it on the whisper. So that means 6 has to go here, apparently, in box number 8. Which does... oh, so there's this... right, yeah, okay. Where does 6 go in this box now? By Sudoku, it's got to go on the whisper, which means this square's a 1. Which means this is not a 1, which means this can't be a 6. Oh, and there's another reason it couldn't be a 6, which is there is a 6 in its column. My apologies. Now, 6 is nearly locked onto this Renban line. 5. Oh, goodness. 5 in box 7 is just placeable. Goes there. So this square has got to be a 7 or an 8, I think. Oh, and it's not 7. Right, so that's an 8. That's a 7. This is not 7 anymore. This column needs 1s, 2s, and 9s to finish it off. 1s, 2s, and 9s. There's a 9 in one of those two cells. No. Okay. And for our next trick, we shall say that... I don't know. I don't quite know where to look. I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple here, but that doesn't affect this digit. So somehow, some way, I think... this is an 8 or a 9 by Sudoku. Well, not really by Sudoku, but also by Whisper's parity, we've got 6 and 7 looking at a high digit. So that's an 8-9 pair now in this column and in this row. Ah, got it. I've got it. I have actually got it. Remember, we said there has to be a 9 on one of these REM bands. Well, if I put a 9 on this one now, this cell has no value because I'd have to put 8 on it as well, and that cell will get broken. So the 9 is up here, which means this string of digits is 6, 8, 9, which means this square is a 7 out of absolutely nowhere. And that means these two cells are not 7 anymore. 7 can't be next to, 7 can't be next to a 3 on a whisper. So this is not 3, but more interestingly, I think this has to now be a 2, which means this has to be a 3, which doesn't actually resolve that one, annoyingly. This is not a 2 anymore by Sudoku. This is not a 2 anymore by Sudoku. 8-9 pair in this row. So this has to be a 6, which means we've got an 8-9 pair up here. And right, and of course what we also know is that if this REM band is 6, 7, 8, 9, this REM band is 7, 6, 5, 4. So I know what these 3 digits are. And I know you're all saying I could have got that from Sudoku. And you're right, I could, but it was much more elegant, probably, to do it the way I just did it, which is admittedly a longer way round, but never mind. So we can do some tidying up of pencil marks. We get nothing for that at all. Right, that's not a 6 I've just seen by Sudoku. Oh, good grief, this is still resisting, isn't it? I don't know what to do. This is not a 3. There we go, I will do that. This could still be a 4 with double 9 though, so that's not helping. What am I missing here? Is there something? I have a horrible feeling there's something super obvious about this middle box. This column? No, I don't think so. I want to say, is it really possible? No, that could be a 6, so it could... Oh no, it can't be a... No, 6 has to go there. There we go, there's a small extra little bit of... extra dollop of icing we found. So this, we know... Oh... Okay, this has to be a 4 or a 5, doesn't it? Because we know the nature of this REM band. It's a 4. Once we got a 7 on it, and we know there's no 8 on it, and we did know there was no 8 on it, then we know this is 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is from 4 or 5. But I might have to colour my 4s and 5s or something. That might be the trick we need to do. Oh, or use the fact there's a 5 there. For goodness sake, Simon. 4 goes here, 5 goes here, 4 goes here, 4 comes off the REM band here, and there we go. That must be huge. Now, we've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in the column, so this has to be high, and it's not 7, look. So there's an 8, 9 pair in the column, which gives us a 7 at the top, which can't go next to 3, so I've now got a 1, 2 pair in the column, which means this is a 3, which very annoyingly doesn't disambiguate my 8s and 9s. Both of those can go next to 3 on the whisper. Oh, more Sudoku. Here we go. There's a 9 in one of those, so that square's got to be an 8. Oh, good grief. That's got to be a 9. That's got to be an 8. 8 can't be next to 4 on a whisper. Okay, that's a tiny deduction, but we'll take it. Okay, this cell, no. This cell, no. Flailing around here, trying to spot something of use. Oh, okay, what about that one now then? Yeah, there is a restriction here. I'm sure there is. Oh, yeah, there's actually a better restriction than I realised. Not only can we not put 7 on this Renban line, and we can't, so it can't have 7, 8 or 9 on it. It can't have 6 on it, because it would be 6, 5, 4, and that cell would have no value. So this is from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, surely I can't put 1 on it, or these are broken. Because you'd have to put 2 on it, and this cell would have no value. But also, if I put 2 on it, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, and now both of those squares are going to be 1. So this is 3, 4, 5 out of nowhere, so that's a 6. Which means, I don't know what that means, but that's quite exciting. This is not 3, so this is now 1, 2 pair. So this row needs, oh, where does 3 go in the row? It's got to go here, because this can be neither 4 nor 5. So that's a 3. This is a 4 by Sudoku, it sees 5, so that's 5, that's 4. These squares are 1s, 2s and 8s. And that feels magical, but is it going to be enough? These squares now are 6, 7s and 9s, which means that's an 8. And that's a 9, which means this is an 8, which means, oh, I've got a 1, 2 pair there. So these two squares have got to be a 3, 5 pair, which means that's a 5 by Sudoku, and this is a 3. So this column now has a digit missing from it, and that digit is a 2, which seems to have to go there. That means this cell's a 1, and this box is done. That could still be a 1 or a 2, though. So something's got to disambiguate this side of the grid. I don't know what that is. Oh, right. So maybe... Can I do this then now? Is there some restriction on this side? I can see it can't have 1 on it, because that's going to break this square. Not sure, but this is the only clue in the grid we've got left that we've not really considered. Can I force something onto it by Sudoku? No, not really. Right, it's not got 9 on it, it's not got 1 on it. I can see both of those things. In fact, it's not got 8 on it, because if it had 8 on it, it would have 7 on it, and both of those would be 9. So the actual options for this are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is too many to be of any interest at all. No. Okay, it's not got 2 on it. I'm going to say that, because that would break this cell. So actually, we're down to 3. So now I've got a 5 on it, which is better than I was expecting. And that 5 is not here. And that 5 takes a 5 out of here and a 5 out of here. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Good grief. Right. So now let's come back and look at this. So we worked out there was a 5 on it. That's knocked 5 out of here. But the effect of that is now there can't be a 3 on this, because it would have a 4 on it. And that would break that cell, so there's now no 3 on this. So now it's also... So now it's got a 6. Oh, it's got a 6 on it. So the 6 is there. And the 5 is here, because the 5 can't go here. Toolcat, this is just showing off. It is actually just showing off. I've got a 4-7 pair in the bottom row, so that's not 7. And that therefore is not... Is it? That's a 9. So that's a 4. So this is an 8 by Sudoku. So this is a 9 by Sudoku. So this is an 8 by Sudoku, which is not disambiguating anything. 9s and 8s go in there. That is that's stopping this being a 4 on the Whisper. So now I've got a 1-2 pair here, which makes this a 3. This 5 tells me this is a 7. 4, 5. 2, 3, 9 into those cells, which might... Yeah, 3 can only go here. So this is 2 and 9. 9 must go there. So this is 2. This is 7. These two squares here are 1s, 2s and 4s. So that's 2. That's 4. That's 1. Wow. Wow. Okay. Now, does this do things? Yes. 9. 6 gives me the 6 and the 7s order. So this square here is not, there's a 1, 2 pair and there's a 3, so that is a 5. This is a 2, so that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 1. That's not a 1 anymore. And surely this is now finished, is it? 4s, 3s and 5s going. It's looking good. 4s and 8s, I can do those. Ah! Don't do that. That would be bad. 7 and 9, I can do that. 1 over here now. So, this is doing the 1s and the 2s on the left-hand side. That's good. So that becomes a 9. We've only got this box to do. 2 and 5. 2 goes here. 5 goes here. We might have finished the puzzle. Let me tick. Yay! Long video. Well, not long by some standards, but quite long. 55 minutes of pure and utter logical joy. And yeah, Toolcat just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's so beautiful, this. It really is. The way that the Renban lines interact in the sort of row 5, so I'm highlighting a column as I said row, but you know what I mean, row 5 and column 5 is sublime. And the way that that led itself to knowing the polarity of the Whispers lines emanating from row 5, it's wondrous. It really is. It's a magnificent puzzle, and I think you then you finish the whirligig by working your way clockwise around the Renbans from here to here to here. So it's almost like spinning round, pointing you in the direction of the solve. Well, if you want to know how Toolcat sets things like this, watch tomorrow's video. Just lost for words. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.